Father. You're watching Youth Focus on Direct 24 and I'm Henriquet Mugabo in Nairobi. I want to welcome all our viewers in Nairobi and around the world. This program aims at bringing youths together to discuss different issues in business, sports, politics and social life. But first, here are the headlines. With the development of the Brexit deal, the EU has denied deal renegotiations as UK Prime Minister Theresa May pushes for her deal to pass through. Ex-Trump lawyer Michael Cohen has been sentenced to 3 years in jail for his role in financial crimes and lying to Congress in order to protect his then client, the US President Donald Trump. Just 3 months after the assassination of the Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi, the US Senate has voted a resolution accusing the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman for the death of Jamal Khashoggi. More than 2 months have passed since the death of Jamal Khashoggi, a Saudi writer, United States resident, and a Washington Post columnist. Khashoggi was last seen entering the kingdom's consulate in Istanbul, Turkey, as he was looking for documentation certifying that he had divorced with his ex-wife and so that he could remarry. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia had denied that its officials had anything to do with the death of Khashoggi, but the US Senate has voted on a resolution accusing the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman for the death of Jamal Khashoggi. The death of Jamal Khashoggi raised discussions about the risks journalists face while doing their profession. In Africa, it is said that the level of media freedom is still struggling as journalists and media professionals are blocked from publishing certain issues that involve politicians, governments, or any other powerful figures. As other media entities around the world are fighting for total media freedom, Kenya is no exception, as Kenya Editors Guild held a convention to bring positive change in the freedom of the press. The convention brought together journalists, government officials, and other media contributors to discuss on the freedom of the press and the contribution of the media in the development of the country. I want to open today's discussion on this topic. Is Kenya's media freedom important, and what can we do to sustain and develop that freedom? Please share your views on our social media on Twitter at mhenriquet_24 or at direct24 and send your SMS on 07 70 30 55 15. On today's topic of discussion, is the Kenyan media freedom important, and what can we do to sustain and develop that freedom? At Ruby Jane says, without freedom of the press, there is no real news because everything will be designed to appeal to a certain group of people. Please keep on sending us your opinions on our social media at mhenriquet_24 or at direct24 and through SMS on 07 70 30 55 and 15. Continue sharing your views on this topic. Is the Kenyan media freedom important, and what can we do to sustain and develop that freedom? I want to welcome our correspondent Brenda Waithera, who will take us through today's featured topic.
Kenyans are known for their passion at helping each other, either helping someone to pay for hospital bills, for education, for businesses with a great vision, and helping through charity. Charity works are becoming one of the most important aspects of our lives as more and more people are willing and taking a step into helping those that need the help. Charity works has been associated with rich people, but as days goes by, more and more ways of helping are being practiced by people around the world. A charity group in Kenya focused on helping children and their families through organizing sports events that will give them room to play, learn, and win prizes. We discussed with the founders of the charity group, and they elaborated more on the importance of charity work and the idea to start such an empowering organization.
Reason ili come up na hii idea ni kwa sababu hapo mtaani mavijana wachezi ball wako zile za watu wako idol, unaona wanakaa kuna watoto wadogo wamekaa pale, lakini there's no one motivating, there's no leadership coming in. Wanawaambia wewe jamaa, fanyeni vitu zitawasaidia kimaisha, mtu akuwa empower. Unaona, sasa wengi especially my age mates wengine walikufa kwa sababu ya kujaribu kuingia kwa wizi, yani walijaribu burglary, na hizo zilikuwa bad choices, naweza sema walifanya bad choices. So mi yangu ilikuwa ni through sports, niliona I can help my brothers, mabeste, tuone kama tunaweza inuana, because wanaona when you come, ukitoka majuu unaweza rudi home ufanye vitu za kusaidiana, kujengana. So I think niliona hiyo ndio the best way ku get attention, lakini naona vijana wana respond poa.
With Micah Room project, as Green Kenya, we thought that Micah Room has the objective of Micah Room and Green Kenya are more or less the same, and so we sat down and said, why don't we make a collab, or why don't we bring our ideas together and impact the community.
Thank you, Brenda. But before we continue, I want to ask you for your opinion on this great act. What was your experience while you were working on this feature?
The job that this organization is doing is in fact an impeccable job. Giving to the community with the little that they have is a commendable job that should be borrowed by everyone around. Raising funds through fun games and activities has given the children an opportunity to bond, at the same time creating awareness about the importance of raising funds for the needy.
Thank you, Brenda. We have received more opinions on today's topic of discussion. Is the Kenyan media freedom important, and what can we do to sustain and develop that freedom? Mohamed Sultan says media freedom is good at a certain level, but it should not be used to disrupt the well-being of the Kenyan society. Continue sharing your views on this topic on our social media on Twitter at mhenrik_24 or at direct24, or send us your views on 0770 30 55 15. To discuss more on this topic, I want to welcome our three opinion leaders. Media in Kenya has developed recently, but we can't say the same thing for its freedom. What can you tell us about this?
Thank you very much for having me, Henrik. My opinion is that media freedom in Kenya is really suppressed, and the reason why there is no media freedom in Kenya is because the government does not want the media to get into whatever the government is doing, because currently the Kenyan government has been engaged in so much corruption. So they are thinking that when the media is all over them and they have so much freedom, they'll be exposed in bad light. And you see, media is the face of the society. So once it exposes the government in bad face, then that is the perception people will have for Kenya.
Thank you. The most affected people in this field are the media practitioners in general, which are the journalists, filmmakers, and other entities. So did you have any experience with this freedom, or gates that were not open for you?
Thank you. I don't think I've had so much experience in the field. I can only speak for my experience in print media. Print media has, I can say it's one of the ones that has the most challenges, because most of our journalists are being sued left and center for charges against defamation charges, whereby a reporter or a publisher will post a story, and probably someone prominent or someone from the government or someone who has money and can buy their way into the judiciary to get probably a court order will go and get probably an injunction to prevent a paper from being published, or rather to go and get a story to be pulled out. And in turn, this will lead the journalists to face laws that haven't been there, because the person whose article has been written will go and claim that they have been defamed, they have been portrayed in such a manner that puts them at a disadvantage. So the journalist will end up paying fines, probably even go to jail. And this it leads to articles that are not really factual, if I could say, because many journalists just do this they put probably half stories, if I can call it that, because when you put the whole story, you end up being sued, or rather, and it affects your credibility as a journalist, because as a journalist, you're supposed to share information from start to finish. So if you have a story and you're afraid that when you publish it, you'll either go to jail or you'll be fined, many journalists shy away from the profession, and you end up finding stories that a journalist will come and apologize because they did not offer the correct information or did not offer the whole information.
Thank you. In recent months this year, a particular Kenyan-produced film was banned by the KFSB, Ezekiel Mutua, in relation to what was produced in it. How are filmmakers being affected by these harsh laws?
The laws are impairing the creativity, of these filmmakers. A filmmaker has the freedom of expression, which is under Article 33 of the Constitution. And under Article 33 of the Constitution, even what you give out creatively is also a form of expression, and that should be protected, and every citizen has the freedom to do so. These laws are, as I mentioned, they're impairing the creativity of a person, and even financially, I mean, you can come up with something that is worth $1 million, but Kenya will just not give you the chance to. And we saw this with Rafiki. Yeah, so I just feel like filmmakers are not being given the opportunity that they deserve.
More opinions are being shared on our social media on today's topic. Is the Kenyan media freedom important, and what can we do to sustain and develop that freedom? Through SMS, Brenda Kanyi says improvement is crucial in the media freedom, as media is an important player in the country's development. Thank you again. Media freedom is an important aspect for the development of the country, and as a practicing journalist, I understand that there are limits on how and what to publish, but this should not be a serious reason to block news or any other important information from being broadcasted, because, well, the public has all the rights to information, and as a responsible journalist, we know what is right and what is wrong. Well, that was all we had for you today. Keep on sharing on this discussion on our social media at mhenrik_24 and at direct24. I want to thank all our viewers around the world and our opinion leaders who contributed to today's news. I was your host, Henriquet Mugabo. Stay tuned on more programs on Direct24. Take care.